Sell the news. It's looking like it with Tesla dropping almost a $30 in the after hours from the Tesla Battery Day. In this video, I'm going to be doing updates on the technology and everything mentioned for 2020 and beyond, and the future of what I feel for Tesla. Feel free to leave in the comments below your own input, and don't forget to like this video and share it with people, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and click that bell notification. But we're going to jump right into it here. Some of the biggest announcements that were made very recently were essentially tabless battery cells, which will improve Tesla's range. They plan to manufacture its own tabless batteries, which will improve the vehicle's range and power. They'll be made in-house. Tesla will reduce costs and bring the sale price of Tesla cars closer to gasoline-powered cars. How practical that is, I guess we'll see into the future. A lot of the projections of when they're expecting things now might be in a few years, not right away, but we'll see how that progresses. We'll see how close his timelines are. And of course, the Tesla is removing the tab that connects the cell and what it's powering, which Tesla is calling the 4,860 cells, will make its batteries 6 times more powerful and increase the range by 16%. So very specific things that people were looking for. But the thing is that Tesla's been hyping the battery day for quite a while here, so everything that they were kind of expecting and kind of hoping for. And of course, it wasn't a bad event, and it does look promising for the future, but you have to remember the PE ratio that Tesla is trading at. It's already kind of obscene at this point, and the fact that they've been anticipating this news for the Tesla battery day and all that for basically months, so a lot of the anticipation was already baked into the price, likely why it dropped right into the after hours. Other thing to mention is the Model S PLAID will cost $139,000 and be available in 2021. Musk has been teasing the PLAID powertrain for a while, which will be a step above its ludicrous model. It will have a range between charges of 520 miles and get from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds, top speed of 200. The price is listed on Tesla's website as $139,000, and he noted in the past that it costs more than our current offerings, which it does. It will be available in the Model S in late 2021. Another announcement that was made. It's a new cathode plant is coming eventually. Obviously, no huge realistic time frame, not in the next months, years maybe. It's going to be a while till it's out. They're basically building a new cathode plant for its batteries in North America, part of its quest to reduce supply chain costs and simplify cathode production. It is also making improvements to its process that will make cathodes 76% cheaper and produce zero waste water. The company also plans to diversify the cathodes it uses because of low nickel supplies. And there wasn't any specific location mentioned, but according to The Verge, they dug up that it would be potentially in Austin, Texas, and strongly consider the runner-up city, Tulsa, Oklahoma, for future projects. Other thing to mention, that they plan to eliminate the use of cobalt in its cathodes. Musk has said he wanted to eliminate it entirely in the past, even though Tesla's existing battery use very little. Cobalt is often mined under conditions that violate human rights, which is very questionable as to how it was achieved in the first place, what was going on in that. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. This video is just covering all the updates that were made. He didn't offer a timeline when they will stop using it, but said it will make the battery significantly cheaper, and it's absolutely critical that they make the cars that people can actually afford. He said affordability is a key to how we scale. Other mention was a $25,000 car. It's a very cheap model car cost. The problem with that is that he said something like that back in 2018 and said it was in the next 3 years. So that would mean 2021 coming up here. Now he's saying it's maybe another 3 years before they can make that cheap of a car. Whether he's going to keep the promise this time around, I guess we'll find out. But that was worth mentioning, that essentially they claim that it was going to come out earlier. Now it's going to come out a little bit later, maybe. We'll see how that progresses. They're going to hit this goal using its new tabless battery cells, and changing the materials inside the cell, which you said should allow Tesla to have the price per kilowatt hour. There's some other things here. I already kind of mentioned that, but the halving was 56% total reduction in cost per kilowatt hour of the battery pack. That helps to create that lower cost, a resulting 54% in range. For that same size pack, a significant reduction in footprint of factories and cost of scaling up production. That is 69% less investment needed. Silicon anodes with higher capacity, new cobalt-free anodes, including very high capacity, all nickel cathodes. Major improvements to the processing part of cathode manufacturing. New sources of immense supplies of lithium, making the structural rear of the car from a single casting, making the battery pack a structural element in the car, effectively making it add no weight to the car, cutting costs, whatever the reason that they're doing it for. I'm sure it's a good one, supposedly. And of course, the 25,000 quality EV I already mentioned earlier in the video with autonomy capabilities. Tesla, of course, didn't apparently take the news very well. It's probably because a lot of that was already baked in because they announced, they're doing Battery Day months and months back. And since like the beginning of the year, the market's been kind of on a tear. Back in March, it was only 109. Well, they split, so it was $500 a share basically in March, and it ran up to 2,000 some. Then they split again. Well, they split once. It was a 5-for-1, and then for that 5-for-1, I think it was a 5-for-1 or was it 4-for-1? Yeah, either way, they split and it went down quite a lot from that split. Then it rose back up from that split, and it's kind of shaking around, and now it's back again at below. I think the split range ended up making it around 420 to 440, somewhere in that range, and now it's under its split value, so it's actually down since it's split overall, at least as of this video currently. Future perspective here. Essentially, for most of the time frame that Tesla's been around, they haven't really did a whole lot. Of course, somewhere in this time frame, Tesla and Elon came around. They haven't been like associated with them since the inception, but since that point, it really didn't really do much, pretty much until 2016, 2017 with a big burst, and then up into 2019 and 20 when it really started to make a major impact on the markets. So, do you think that's overvalued? Personally, I personally do. PE ratio 1091. If you guys are not familiar with what a PE ratio is, that it's basically trades at 1091 times its earnings. That's a very, very obscene projection. Even with promising tech and everything else, do you guys really feel that Tesla is overvalued by 1091 times its earnings, that it's going to have that much growth in the future? This is a very, very overpriced, hype price, in my opinion. I don't really like touching those kind of high PEs due to that reason. They're expecting quite a lot in the future. Elon's made a lot of promises. This is just a list of a bunch of different ones from in the past, back in 2018, some of which he honored, other ones not so much. He's also did other things like solar and stuff like that. Obviously, Tesla is not just a car company. It's a little bit more than that. But just from the EV aspect, BNEF outlines that the electric vehicles will hit 10% of global passenger vehicles in 2025, with that number rising to 28% in 2030 and 58% in 2040. So you're looking at years and years into the future before they make a real impact on the markets. Obviously, Tesla's already kind of projecting maybe 30 to 70 years into the future with their current earnings valuation through the PE and PE ratio. What you guys kind of expect is, are you really thinking that they're going to hit 1,000 again? It might be possible. It's Tesla. They have a lot of hype going for it, but then the PE ratio gets really, really, really obscene. and the valuation of the shares is just getting kind of ridiculous again. Personally, not for me to touch. I really don't like that unpredictability, but that's really up to you guys what you want to consider in that regard. It's a brief summary for anyone wanting to know that, of course, they're not just electric cars. I'm going to read this off really quick for you guys before I end this video, but they design, develop, manufacture, and sell fully electric cars and energy storage systems, as well as installs, operates, and maintains solar and energy storage products. They also have insurance and some other things that they make revenue from. And of course, unfortunately, their overall revenue is barely profitable. And if you read the filings, it's kind of subjective if you want to consider what they've made as actual profit comparative to the loans and all the debt and all the offerings that they have to take out in order to maintain this business. It's a lot of projections of the future guidance. So a lot of this is more dependent not so much on Tesla, but what the future of EV might hold, what the future of solar might hold, and all that kind of stuff that you have to put into essentially one tiny little box and ultimately determine whether you feel that this is the future that you will be seeing for Tesla. Personally, for me, I don't think that Tesla is the future. I feel that another company is going to come around that's a little bit more profitable, a little bit more stable. Tesla is kind of like the experimental company for the future of EV and all this other stuff, whereas another company is going to come around, do a lot of these things much cheaper and much more efficient and much more cost friendly. And that in turn is what we're going to be seeing. Uh, Obviously, we never know the future for companies like this. There's a lot of hype attached into that company. But so far, it's at a sell the news phase. We'll see how it opens into the market hours on Wednesday, September 23rd, coming up here, and go from there. I'm personally projecting that we might see a drop down to maybe even $200 a share, which might sound a little bit ridiculous if you think about it. You know, you're thinking, well, that's half the cost, but you have to remember that they split with a 5-to-1 split. So before that split, they were hitting around 2,200. So if you times that, 400, 800, 1,200, 1,004, or 1,600, and so on and so forth. So, and then $2,000 a share at that point, and then that split caused this reduction. It looks like the price is cheaper than it really is if you factor in all of that. But of course, share your own input in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to like the video and share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not a part of this channel yet. I'm up for comments below on other videos you'd like to see about this or other things, whether it's Nikola, which you guys have probably seen if you're subscribed to this channel. But that's about it. Thanks for listening in, and have a great day.